Karyn Bryant for MMA H.E.A.T. I'm here with Dennis Bermudez. He is facing Max Holloway at UFC 160 in Las Vegas. And the last time we saw you, we were sitting down after UFC 157. You had a split decision win over Matt Grice. It was fight of the night. Yep. It was amazing. This is a relatively fast turnaround after that fight, yeah?
Yeah, usually my experiences with the UFC have been like, I've got like 5 months, like one was 6 months, but I have had one other 3-month gap, you know, so it's no, and that's the usual, you know, fight every 3 months, you know, max, you know, about 4 fights a year for professional fighters all around the country and the world, so we're ready to get back in there.
Well, and I think too, some people prefer to do that instead of getting out of shape. You just kind of stay in shape, yeah?
Yeah, this one, you know, I find my weight comes down like a little bit easier when I do fights closer. When I get out, my body gets used to like, all right, let's stay around 170 right here. Like you're good here, you know? And then when I get back into it again, I'm like, oh man, like it kind of hurts me like getting back into that grind again if I've been away too long.
So did you look back on that fight with Matt Grice and you know, when you look back and see the scoring and stuff, did you score it the same way? Did you feel that you won decisively? Did you understand why it was a split decision?
Yeah, I definitely see why it was a split decision. You know, the first round you could kind of throw either way. You know, second round you kind of throw either way as well. But the third round I took that one, you know. So. Yeah, it was definitely a good, you know, it's one of those, you know, I know what I'm working with here, you know, I know what I'm made of.
And I'm wondering too, certain fighters, you know, between rounds, sometimes their corner tells them they're down, sometimes the corner says you're winning. What did your guys say, you know, to you during that fight? Do you remember, you know, what the advice was going into that since it was so close?
During the first like 2 rounds, it was, you know, keep moving forward, get him faking, get him, you know, get him reacting. Going to that third round, they're like, you gotta go win. Like they you know, they didn't, because sometimes you see fighters and they're, you know, their corners want them not to get anxiety and freak out, so they'll tell them that they're winning even if, you know, they might not be. So when the scorecards come, they're like, what the heck, and you know, my corners didn't want, you know, they didn't want it to be that, you know, so it was like, you're losing, you know, let's go to the worst case scenario, go out there and get it.
Yeah, I think it personally would be dangerous to say you're winning if you're not clearly winning. Yeah. But
even in my own head, like if it's like, I'll just be like, all right, that's for him. Next time we got to pick it up.
So we're here at Rain in SoCal, and this is Mark Munoz's gym. I come here all the time to film. There's always a lot of great talent. Ryan Parsons called me up the other day and told me that you were going to be here. So, you know, obviously you're not usually based here. Why'd you want to come here before going out to Vegas?
Before the Grice fight, because it was in California, I came out 2 weeks early before the fight, and I stayed with my manager, and he, you know, he just got me on a really good nutrition plan. We go over just some, you know, exactly what we're gonna do in the fight, game plan, and just everything. He gets my mind right. Everything just kind of goes well. So this might actually be a new ritual as long as this fight goes as planned. You know, the week before like my fight, or 2 weeks before my fight, come out to California for a week, get my mind right, get my weight right, and then fly to wherever we gotta go fight.
But you wouldn't think of just permanently moving here?
I've got such a great team in Long Island, you know, guys that if I needed money, if I needed anything, you know, that have my back, and I've come such a long way since living there that I wouldn't want to leave those guys.
And you are half Puerto Rican, right?
Yes.
And there's also the Puerto Rican Day Parade, which I mean, if you haven't been to the Puerto Rican Day Parade in New York City, people, you haven't lived. That is the most insane parade in the world. Have you been in it? Have you partaken in it?
My uncle has, you know, had his truck go down as a float, you know, but I actually haven't been in it.
No.
Yeah.
Well, you should. I mean, it's a question of yet. I mean, don't you think you would have your own like UFC float down in the parade?
I think we're onto something right now. I think we're totally onto something.
I think that would be amazing. Obviously, you were drilling your takedowns is what we were watching you before. You think that's going to be an effective tool in the fight?
Yeah, if I think he's super cautious on my takedowns, he's not going to sit in and throw like he likes to. So, and then that opens up my strikings, opens up my takedowns, and just gives me control of the fight.
And I did also notice that you seem to be going a little bit harder than I usually see people, you know, the week of the fight. Is that by design, or is that something you really felt like today, you know what, I need a couple of things I need to tweak and I really want to work hard?
In general, when I go, you know, when I'm back on Long Island, it's like grind 1000%, but it's for sometimes an hour and a half, you know. Here, you know, fight week, we're, you know, if we go hard, it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you know, kind of around the fight length, just to get your body ready to rock and roll, whether my calories are low or carbs low. If I can do 20 minutes hard, we're in good shape.
And so was there something special about Ryan when you were on The Ultimate Fighter that you just bonded with him? You know, obviously he was one of Jason's coaches, Mayhem Miller's coaches, and, you know, is that where you just formed this bond? And what was it about him that made you want to stick with him?
Yeah, that's where the bond was made. And before the show, I didn't have a manager, you know, and some of the things I was looking forward, like someone that I knew, someone that I could trust, you know, and that knew the game. And he had all those, you know. I got to spend every day with him for 6 weeks, and you know, I saw he knew what he was talking about, and so.
He knows a little bit. He knows a couple of things.
Yeah.
I think he also knows that you need to leave right now, so I'm going to wrap it up, Dennis. But thanks for talking, and I'll be out in Vegas. I'll see you there, and perhaps we'll see you in the winner's circle.
Sounds good.